Health Education Lecture Series. All the listeners of Health Education Lecture Series, I'm your host Gurdeep Singh Sandhu, homeopathic consultant. My clinic address is 9701 Sarah and Court, Dublin, California 94568, and phone number 408 687 1899. And I'm here to deliver another lecture of Health Education Lecture Series. As all you know that all these lectures, how the life was created, how the life was developed, what were the problems during this course of life in mother's verbs and after that, and we have divided it into different sections. During pregnancy, what were the changes taken place in this life, what happened into the mother's verbs, problems, deficiencies, and all those things we have discussed. And after that, when it came out of mother's womb as a newborn, and it was holding a title of newborn up to 1 year. And during 1 year course, what are the diseases she has to suffer? It has to suffer. And what are the means a medical science nowadays is adopting to overcome all those diseases? We have given details of all those diseases and vaccination therapies, what the medical science is doing at this time. As far as possible, I'm giving you the modern views and approach of the medical science at this time. Previously, it was not under control. It was out of control of the human beings when we do not know about all these diseases and about their proper treatments, how we can avoid all those things. But now we are able to, by the development of vaccination therapy, and now we are doing it regularly. In this way, in all the hospitals in all the countries, basically, these advices are given for the vaccinations to all the newborn children, so that they should not suffer from the diseases which they are supposed to suffer, at their newborn life. Okay, I think now this my mirror is okay. Okay, so in this way, we are discussing all these phases of life up to toddler's age. And during the toddler's age, when a child is after 1 year, he is given a title of toddler, and that title remains with this life up to 5 years of age. And after that, a new step of life, we have divided the grouping that is known as adolescence age. It starts developing in adolescence age after the age of 5. And there are different changes we have discussed in the male and female system, physically and also internally, physiologically. So many of the things have happened in this field. It was a special type of field which we considered as no man's land, because at this time the child becomes self responsible for all his activities, and it is not dependent on parents most of the times, and most of the its day to day life. And that is why uh, he enters into a new era of life, into the school or colleges, and where he met with the new society. And that new society, we don't know what type of society he will be entering in, and what the society will drag him to. What are the feelings and what are the ideas of the new society he may adopt now in the college and schools. And in this way, if the parents are not taking proper care of his children and they are carefree at this time, then your child may be involved, child may be dragged into some different kind of behavior, some different kind of day to day life, which you may or may not accept it. And if this is the situations, sometimes it becomes very awkward for the parents to accept it and to adjust it. And we call this child is stubborn, he do not listen us. But actually it is not his problem, because he has already been abandoned by the parents, and he has already been accepted by the new society of the college and school wherever he is. So therefore I recommend to the parents that do not be carefree from your child when he is going into the school and colleges. And as you know, the day-to-day new society will intervene in his life and will introduce new type of life and new type of conditions in his life. And some of them may be more charming, some of may be more uh, acceptable by him because of his developing age, and he may be involved in those incidences, and sometimes in later life he may suffer from those things. Therefore I request and I advise to all the parents at this times that not to be carefree, not to spare a gap where a new society is entering into. Yes, the society has to enter it, but at least it should be given a space acceptable to the parents, and your child should develop under acceptable new phase, new era of the life in the colleges and schools. At this age, it's very difficult for the children to accept. On the one side, he is in a new society and the parents are carefree. On the other side, his body is developing and accepting some very fast physiological changes in his life, which was not previously bothering him or bothering to anybody, or were not prominently visible to any other persons, that he is entering into an adulthood, adolescence is. It's a, you can say, the preliminary stage of adulthood, where the hormonal phase has activated very fast. It was there even when the child was born, and the doctor identified it male or female. It means some of the special type of hormones were taking place to form the structure of this body as a male or as a female. And now this age, that's the adolescence age, these hormones are activated, liberated very fast. And day to day life, you can see the changes in your child, maybe male or maybe females. And that we have already discussed in our previous lectures. In the case of female, we see the increasing of a little bit of a fat, mostly on the face, on the hips, on the chest, all these things. Whereas this less fat on the male bodies. Change of voice. The girl's voice become more soft. The boy's voice becomes a little more harder. And there are some other secondary sex characters which comes time to time in male and females both. That the axillary hair, that the female genital organs hairs, and also the function of the female genital organs in different sexes, male and female both. They have their different development, physiological development under these influences of the hormones. At this time, at this time, the child has three, four phases of his life. One, to maintain his personality, to maintain his physics, that he should be accepted, just like he was accepted by the parents and loved by the parents. Everybody wants that wherever he is, he should be accepted by the society and should be loved by the societies. And for that, in this new society, he thinks that he should be physically fit and physically handsome and beautiful, depending upon the sex of the child. And But there is a hindrance, there is a blockage. One blockage is that because of the hormones productions, excess production causes some type of different physical changes in the body, which are not acceptable. Yes, menstruation is acceptable. Yes, discharge of semen and production of the sperms is acceptable. Many of the things and development of the body is in a different shape in male and female, that is acceptable. But sometimes the overproduction of the hormones produces acne, pimples on the face of both male and females, and that causes a little bit of a problem if they are aggressive, if they are increased in large numbers. That causes a problem for the personality point of view, that he's having many more pimples on the face, and sometimes those pimples left a scar on the skin of the face, especially. Maybe the skin may be scary, maybe eruptions on the back as well, but most of the things these happens on the face area, which is not acceptable, which causes some type of depressions in the children, because everyone wants to be accepted in the society wherever he is. But if he is entering into the society and wants to maintain his physics, beautiful or handsome, but these pimples and all these things, they are causing a problem for him to be accepted in this way. In these conditions, it's a normal phase, and the parents should play a normal role, that this is the normal phase of your hormones, not to worry about that. It's a limited phase, limited period, that it will go off. Do not worry about that, so that you can build your child morally, that he will not be depressed because of this physical appearance of his face. And ultimately, you know that in male and females, after they get married, after their sex life is started as in a normal, they don't have any pimples, they don't have any acne on the face and all that. Very rarely there are blemishes, and those blemishes are, especially in the case of females, are because of the changes in the blood structures, changes or the deficiencies of the iron, deficiency of the iodine, and many of the other things which are deficient in his blood, which is circulating in each and every tissue, that causes blemishes on the face. Mostly we see it. The blemishes are on various other places, but when these blemishes are on the face, they look very awkward. They causes a problem for this one. But here at this age, mostly what happens, so whenever you take anything inside your body, and if it is excess, we call reaction, we call side effect of the things. Maybe a medicines, even maybe a food you are taking in excess, and you are taking it regularly, just like fat you are taking regularly, it will give a different type of figure to your body, and it will become a fatty body. In the same way, the medicines may cause these type of side effects and reactions. And the similar condition happens when there is an increase of male or female hormones inside this body at the age of adolescence. We are talking about the adolescence age. And the excess of this one, excess of everything, whatever is going inside the body, if it is an excess, just like the you have taken more food, and ultimately it will be evacuated by the stool, and ultimately if it has entered into the blood, it will be evacuated by the urine. If it has not evacuated completely by the stool or urine, it will go to the skin, and ultimately the skin appearance and the skin eruptions and the skin eczema will come into existence. And ultimately, if it is not cleaned up in the skin, ultimately it goes to the breathes, and you can feel the breathlessness, and you can feel the bad breath from the mouth of the children. And this thing actually happens at the adolescence age because of the hormones. So hormone production is increasing day by day at this age, and the excess of hormones. Normal hormones are utilized for the development of the physical body, for the development of mental status, feminine status or male status. That they should proud of their physics. That I'm a man, I'm a female. Both of them should have pride, and that proud comes from these production of the hormones. And at that time, if these hormones are in excess beyond requirement, ultimately those hormones are liberated by the urines. It enters into the blood and by the urines, and then sometimes it comes in the skin. And in the skin, I have told many times that nature has fixed a different kind of structures inside the skin that is known as apocrine glands. And those apocrine glands, they just work like chopping. Whatever comes mixed into the bloods in the skin, it is chopped up by the endocrine glands, means make dilute, make soft, so that whatever the blood is inside, whatever the water is inside the blood, they are dissolved in it and easily evacuated through the pores of the skin, evacuated from the pores of the skin. And ultimately, if it's a chemical type of things, if it's hormonal type of thing, it may cause reactions, it may cause irritation, and you may scratch over there. That may produce ulcers over there, oozing eczema over there. And all these things happens with the reaction of medicine, with the reaction of anything, whatever goes inside your body. Whatever you eat, it goes inside your body. But this is internal production. Hormones are internal protection, and that is not your control. Okay, you will not take more food, or you will not take anything excess, which is causing problem for your body. But this is internal change, natural change, which has to happen. And if it is in excess by nature, ultimately you have to bear that. So I'm telling you, anything goes inside the body, or anything is produced from inside the body. If it is excess from the requirements, ultimately it becomes a toxic type of thing, that it becomes a waste type of thing. If not toxic, you can say the waste type of things. And the waste products, nature wants to expel it out from the body by the stool, by the urine, by the sweat, by the breathing as well. And the same thing, when the different hormones, the testosterone hormones in the males, progesterone hormones in the females, or estrogen hormones in the females, because LH hormone and follicular stimulator hormone, they are regularly coming into phase and are produced in male and female for the production of, for the development of the cycles of life inside both bodies. But some of the hormone, just like I told you about the estrogen hormone, it is related to only the females. And testosterone hormone is mainly related to male personality or male bodies. But there are some of the productions, some of the productions still produced in the female of testosterone hormone, in the male of progesterone hormones. Some of the things are produced over there, but they are a minimum quantity, and it is overpowered by the feminine structure in the females, and by the male structures in the male body. So that is why they maintain their male structure, and the girls maintain their feminine structures. In this, with the soft body and soft skin, and circular body, fat depositions, and all these things, the soft voice, all these things happens in the female body. The same way, the stout body, the muscular body, and hard voice, all these things happen in the male body because of these hormones. And because the hormones of the opposite sex are still production, still are having some production in the opposite body, means progesterone production in the male body, testosterone production in the female body, but they are in a minimum quantity, just like to ignite, just like to stimulate the production of opposite hormone and to overpower this thing. Minimum quantity of testosterone hormone is produced in the females, which stimulates the production of estrogen and progesterone hormones in the female body. On the contrary, in the male, there is a production of progesterone just that gives the structure and the skin and luster and softness in the skin and the male body, but this is overpowered by the testosterone hormones. So their individual characteristics in the male and females are still maintained, even the opposite type of hormones are produced in the minimum quantity in both these bodies. But I'm talking about the adult's age at this time. Because of these hormones, the first thing I told you about the pimples and acnes, it happens. This is the big problem. Second, it causes anxiety. It causes a type of depression in the children's, but that may be overcome because there are many more other children, they are having the similar type of conditions. And so ultimately with the guidance or with the knowledge, they maintain it. The second thing which causes the depression is that the he has to cope up with the daily curriculums. And if it is behind, because if some part of the memory is taken up by any anxiety, by any deficiency, by any type of things which hurts you, the same quantity or the same ratio, your mental faculty will be deficient. Your mental faculty. Suppose if you are able to memorize a thing when you read it one time, but you have the pimples, you have this type of tension all the time, you are having my pimples on the face, this and that. Some of the mind is occupied by this type of tensions, and ultimately you will remain behind. Second thing, second thing, to cope up with the daily curriculum, sometime the society invades or intervenes in this phase, and sometimes the drug is intervened in the mostly it was previously in the colleges, but now it has entered into the schools. School boys and girls are taking the drugs, and ultimately two things. One, the hormone things. Third, the new society interference. And the fourth society, the new society is intervening in new type of things in your mind. That is the drug to overcome your tensions. And ultimately, the fourth thing is introduced that, oh, if my parents will come to know, then what? They are depressed. And to overcome all the depressions, to overcome all the situations, I'm recommending to the parents that you should remain attached with your children so that they should not feel guilty if ever something has gone wrong to him, if he has done something wrong in his wife, in his life, then you should remain attached to him so that overall they should know day to day life. My parents knows about everything of my deficiencies, of my problems, and you should guide him day to day by for the deficiencies or his tensions, so that he should be tension free from all these things. And this is the era, this is the phase of life that they need most for their parents' advice, because they are the persons who are more nearest and dearest to him and faithful to him. We do not know the society he is entering will be faithful to him or not. Under those conditions, again it will create a new problems. If the society dragged him into the drugging style and all these things and the bad habits which we consider socially, if he is dragged into those societies, then he will day to day become more guilty inside, and depression will come up on his total personality, that he is not covering up his daily curriculum. Plus, he is adopting those habit of addiction of something else which is not accepted. And third, yeah, that if your parents will come to know that you are having bad habits of addiction of something, and you are behind your regular study, you are behind of anything else, and also the pimples, this is what I told you, is one of the cause of your depression or anxiety. Is all these things should be discussed with the parents, or the parents should inquire from the children, that if ever they are having this kind of any conditions, they should discuss with the parents, and parents should guide him, boost his energy, morally make him up, so that he should not be depressed even if there be any deficiency. First deficiency, physical deficiency, physical expression. Second deficiency, lack of completing the curriculum. Third deficiency, he is entering to the society, and that society's habits are not acceptable by your family, and the family will guide you to avoid those things, so that not be addicted to anything which is not acceptable. In this way, it's a must that all the parents should join their children's with day-to-day curriculum, so that they're not feeling depressed anytime. And at this time, because they are having another burden on their mind to build up their future from school to college, they having a pressure to build up their future, what type of future they want to be, and they are thinking also about that things. In this way, there are multiple burdens on his mind, and at this time, if you keep a gap between the children and the parents, ultimately, and they are only left upon the new society which they are entering in, you do not know whether it will be helpful to him or whether it is not helpful to him. Under those conditions, you do not know what way your child will develop his personality, his mentality, or what way his life will go on in future. So, to keep command on that one, to keep a track on the day-to-day curriculum of your kids, and to build up his future in a nicely, in a beautiful way, whatever he thinks or whatever you think about him, so that it is a must that you should remain attached with your children. Now, the second part. The second part of this lecture is mainly concerned with those things that suppose, this is what happening in most of the parents, those who say that my children are stupid. They do not listen us. They are irritated. They are not listening us. They are behind their curriculums, and they are not successful students. In this way, all these things happen in the society nowadays, and tension is created between children and the parents. And it's not only this much. Ultimately, it brings up a new type of condition in the mental state, also in the day-to-day curriculum of the children's, and that is known as hysteria. That's known as schizophrenia. And suppose if you all these terms, you unite all these things, a big term comes up, that is depression. Depression, anxiety is the basic thing which intervenes, which comes up automatically when your child is thinking about any problem like physical deficiencies, physical personality, and he feels he is not welcomed and accepted by the society by one or the other reasons. Suppose if a child is competent in his education, study, and all that, definitely his other companions will accept him as a friend. But if a child is having pimple on face, and bad smell from the mouth, bad smell from the sweatings, and ultimately carefree from his study and all that, nobody will want to make friend to him. Ultimately, he will feel depressed. These are the normal routine things which happens with every child. But if you are taking care of your child and guiding him time to time, and in these conditions, he will not fall in anxiety, he will not catch depressions, and he will be a top friend of the society, or he can maintain his status, acceptable status in his present society of the college. So in this way, suppose suppose we are unable to do all these things. We are unable to do all these things. So then what happens? Depression basically is when your senses are divided apart. Divided means if you are focused on your target, definitely you will win ultimately. But if you are not focusing on the things and you are diverted, your thinking is diverted to some other points, physical, mental, or if ever you are involved in addiction, ultimately you will not be 100% to your curriculum. Then you will left behind. And this is the start of definition of depressions. When you are, or when anybody is not competent to the task before him, whatever the task in life is, and if a person feels himself and not competent to that task, then ultimately the stage comes that is known as depression. Mentality is divided. And to this type of depressions, we easily divide, because it's not that immediately everything comes up. Some things comes gradually, gradually, gradually. Sometimes some things comes as any provocation because of some incidences, just like one there is a sudden death of any nearest and dearest, and one becomes anxious, one cries, one becomes unconscious, depends upon the stage of his sensitivity. So in this way, some of the things are excited, are accelerated because of some incidences is happening, and on the contrary, some of the characteristics are already in his genes, and the time to time they go on developing, the time to time they go on increasing and accelerating the conditions. Under these conditions, in both the conditions, hysteria or schizophrenia, we are able to cure and we are able to maintain. We are able to cure hysteric type of things. We are able to maintain the schizophrenic type of things. Okay, because the schizophrenic type of things are mainly because of the genetic character. Their parents may be autistic, may be patient of ADHD in their life. And now at the younghood or at the family, at the father or mother stage, they may be at this time absent-mindedness or the stillborn type of things. So all these things are step by step increasing in their life. And now they are the parents, and that genetic character has invaded into the newborn children. And ultimately, from the basic things, they start developing even in the childhood. They start developing this type of characteristics. But when they become this age, adolescence age, because the secondary sex characters are provocating everything, mental tension, physical, and all these things, then at that thing, and even the sex characters are developing at this stage very fast, and these things becomes uncontrollable from the children's. And what happens, I'm just telling you, that is known as schizophrenia. But this hysteric type of things are little easy, are temporary, are because of the present situations. And if the present situation is overcome, ultimately the hysteric things may go away. At the adolescence age, personality actually plays a major role. If someone is having any deficiency in the personality development, which does not match to his society, and he is unable to be accepted by the society, it causes a type of depression. It causes a type of emotional type of things, and which change his behavior. Ultimately, which change his behavior as mood swings. He becomes sometimes irritated, he becomes sometimes jolly. If someone speaks friendly with him, he is okay, he is a jolly. But on the other contrary things, you annoyed him, because not those people, you annoyed him because of your behavior, because you you are in this condition of that oversensitive persons, and from many incidents you are reacting oversensitively. Sometimes somebody jokes with you, but you take it seriously because you do not understand the meaning of that one. And ultimately, you excited very much. And then you know, annoyed your friends, and there is a mood change. And on the other points, you becomes very jolly. So this is the condition of hysteria, that anything, any incidents can excite the mood swings in a developing children, you can say at the age of adolescence. Their personality things are changed time to time. Mood swing. This is known as mood swing, and actually these type of persons are mostly carefree. Just like I can give you one example. Teacher is teaching on the on your blackboard, on whiteboard. You show that you are attending him, that you are curious to see all these things, but actually your mind is somewhere else. When you are unable to control, you are physically there, you are physically showing your presence, but mentally you are not there. Means when your control of mind is dull personality, and you cannot control it under those conditions, this is a type of which is known as hysteric personality. Hysteric personality. He expresses something, but mentally he is not up to that. He says that I am in the class, I am attending the teachers, physically experience phase, he shows that one, but mentally he's somewhere else. He was thinking something else. So when you cannot control your mind to target the points, or to focus in one point, you focus in this the signboard, or focus to the teacher, what the teacher is saying, when you are unable to that one, because that is your beyond your personality, that is become beyond your control. Otherwise everybody wants that if I'm sitting in the class, I should listen to my teacher. I should listen to my teacher what he is saying, so that I can understand the subjects. Everybody wants to do this thing. This is the motive. When we are going to school, our motive is that what the teacher says we should learn, we should listen and learn and understand everything. But if someone is out of control of his mentality, he is sitting in the class, but he do not know what the teacher is saying, means he could not recollect his thoughts, and ultimately he could not remember all these things. Dull personality starts developing when most of the things in any person's life are deficient. If you have any deficiency, automatically that will attract your mind, even if you are in a class, even if you are in a hot topic of your life, but even then that will attract your mind to your deficiencies. So whenever there is a deficiencies, the parents has a responsibility to satisfy him that whatever you are okay, everything is okay. This will go, this phase will go over, and ultimately you will be all right. So you have to built up his moral so that he should not feel depressed. He should not be having a double dull personality in the class, so that once you listen the teacher, definitely it will be computerized, written in your mind. But if you do not, if you have a double personality, automatically you will not be able to understand what the teacher has said. So he will be having a double personality. This is the hysteric type of things. Sudden change of behavior. When you see in your children's, there is a sudden change in the behaviors. One time he's jolly, on the other time he's very irritated. It's the beginning of the hysteric type of things. It's beginning of the hysteric title. And sometimes if you are irritated on him, if you are not understanding the condition at this time, ultimately this stage will develop in your children, and ultimately he will develop seizures, sometimes paralysis, sometimes you can say the blindness. They were not having that kind of blindness or that kind of any deficiency, but sudden seizures, sudden jerking of any limbs or anything else. It may develop. Ultimately, if you are not taking your children's and you are not satisfying him for his deficiencies, if child is okay, there is no deficiency, there is no depression, there is no anxiety. But if there is a deficiency of any kind, physical kind of things, and the Karn I told you about the hormones, and if ever this thing is happening in the life of adolescence age, then you should be attached to your children's and guide him and build up him morally, so that he should not be having a dull personality, he should not be having a changeable personality, and he should not be feel depressed in his life. And ultimately all these things, because everybody is sensitive, everybody suppose if something happens sad, everybody is sad. If but timely fashion, they are relieved from this one. If there is a any happy moments, everybody enjoys those happy moments, but it's also a timely fashions in this way. But if you feel your children's are oversensitive to any type of incidents, sad or happy moments, they laugh without reasons, they laugh very loudly and continuously. Or if sad happening, he's sad, he's not coming up, he's not developing up according to the other family members, then think that these are the preliminary stages of hysteria. Ultimately it may come if you do not cover him in these conditions. So you should be attached to this your children's, so that morally he should be built up. He should not develop these stages of the hysteric type of things. Second thing, all these things, as I told you, there are some reasons that you cannot cope up with. That's the hormonal stage. Hormonal stage is a physiological functions you cannot control in this way. Though nowadays the doctors are using the hormones like a magic, like a magic. And just like the ladies are saying, oh, I have to go to party, but my menses are due at that time, I do not want to be. Okay, let it give some tablets and delay it. Or I want to make my menstruations early. All these things are happening by the hormonal therapies. And we are now physician, not only physician, we have become the magicians as well. Okay, so in this way we are using the hormones in this way. But now I'm not advocating all these things, I'm just advising you that these are the conditions which may happen in your children's, male or female, girls or boys, at this stage when they are passing through the toddler's age. And the other thing, that is the illusion when you have not controlled all these things in your children, when you have not built up your children morally, at that time a condition will happen that is known as illusion. I can tell you these two terms. One term comes in hysteric phase, the other term comes in schizophrenic stage. Because I told you previously, the schizophrenic phase is a gradually developing stage from parents to children developing phase, and it gradually go on increasing and remains with the life of the persons, maintained or unmaintained. Sometimes it is maintained in the life of the children, sometimes it is beyond his limits. So this is the point where we can see whether this thing is maintained or not maintained, whether this is hysteria or whether this is schizophrenia, and that is illusions and hallucination. These are two terms mainly used in psychiatry, psychiatric departments, the mental departments. Normally it is used, that one. Illusion means, ill means bura, next, which is not actually. That is that thing. Just like if you see a rope, you see a rope and you think that it is a snake hanging from the roof. This thing, normally, if in a normal person, happens in a dark way because the room is dark, anybody can be scared that, oh, it may not be because nowadays these are lanterns and all that things. But when we were children, at that time the roof was not the lantern or all these things. They were all that loose roofs. In this condition, something is happening from the roof, and he can think over it, maybe a snake. And this thing at night, if it happens, may happen to anybody. But if your children at the adolescence age thinks in a daytime, now it's advanced stage. It is advanced stage when illusions and hallucination start developing in your children, because you were unable to maintain his personality in the previous phase. When these things were starting, change of behavior, change of talking view, change of working, and all these disorganized life, all these things. Some of the children are very organized in their study, keeping their books, keeping their uniforms, maintaining their time periods for all these things. But some of them are carefree from all these things. These are the initial things. And it's not that you can do for him everything. Let him do. Teach him that he should do and he should be an organized person. But at that time, you didn't do that. And ultimately, the stage has developed when it has come to the illusions and hallucinations. Illusions means there is something, some object is there, which is misunderstood, misimagined. When distinct times, objects, all these things are misunderstood. If it is misunderstood in the dark, no problem. It may happen with anybody. But if these things are misunderstood even in a daylight, when it is not possible, means this is back in the senses, back in the senses that he is thinking to a rope to a snake, then it's something serious. And that is the hysteric type of things, which comes with the seizures as well sometimes. Seizures, I told you about that one, and sometimes the paralysis of any hand or paralysis or jerking in the hands, chorea type of things, these may develop. And these are sometimes the temporary phase, and after that they go off. When you satisfy him, they go off. Ultimately, on the contrary, if it's not hysteric, on the contrary, if it's a schizophrenic, then it's a different kind. That is known as hallucination. Hollow. Hollow means nothing. There's nothing. I'm just trying to convince you, or so that you can understand easily what I'm saying. Illusion, anything which is not actually. The object is there, but it is not actual, something else. And we are pretending it's something else. We are thinking that this is something else. On the other hand, we are talking about the schizophrenia. That is hallucination, very advanced stage. And hallucination means there's nothing. And oh, I see somebody is watching me, or something's going under my chair, or somebody is watching me, and he may hurt me. And something demons, bhoot, demons, sometimes, but that they do not have any object, but they feel like that one. This thing can happen in the dark because of the weak mind, because we have inserted the ideas in the mind of these small children, and they feel like that. But when the adult persons, when a person at the age of adolescence age think that one, that is a serious thing. There's nothing. And suppose it is not dark, it's a daytime, it's a light times. And at the light times, a girls or a boy, especially the girls, thinks that, oh, out of my door, somebody is watching me. He can hurt me. Oh, somebody is listening my things, and somebody is watching on me. He may cause some danger to me. Just like the demons, there is no any physical existence of anything and no object, but they think that's known as hallucinations. So this is the condition which is known as in the schizophrenic conditions. Your child should not go to these conditions. You have to control all these things. And how you can control it? Very easy. That since beginning, when he start going to school, remain attached with your children, so that he can talk to you about every incident in your school, and you can maintain, build up his moral to cope up with all those things, to fight with all those things bravely, and to come up as a brave man, so that he will not feel that. Then ultimately, it will build a character between mother and father, and children's, that whatever happens, right or wrong, he will discuss with you, and you can guide him properly. Even it's wrong, you can guide him properly. But if he ashamed, if he's scared, no, I will not tell you. Or he's scared that I did something wrong, and if my father will come to know, what will happen? If I did something wrong, if my mother will come to know, what will happen? So it creates a tension in his mind, which captures part of his memory away from the normal curriculums. And ultimately, it results in anxiety, and it results in depression. Ultimately, it results in deorganization, because most of the mind has been captured by these type of anxieties, day-to-day anxieties. And he is unable to maintain this thing without the help of the parents, or without the help of good society. But you do not know about that one, whether his society in the school is good, or whether the society is not good. And I told you, all these things are at adolescence age. In other ages, these may be the causes for hysteria, for schizophrenia, in other phases of life. But I'm talking to adolescence age. At this age, the major part for these things, for these incidences, is the suppression of sexual sphere, because these are five senses we respect. But here, our elders, our preachers, they have always expressed the ideas that no, sex should not be declared, sex should not be talked about, secret things. Whereas this is the prime thing, this is the fifth sense of our life, but it is not the fifth one, it's the first one. If the life will not be there, then what's the use of eyes? What's the use of ears? What's the use of tongue? What's the use of nose? All our senses are useless if the life will not be created. So first thing is the sex. And at this age, adolescence age, this phase comes up because we have make it a secret thing. Even the child will not be able to talk to you about this thing. And it is automatically phase that it has developing from inside. The hormonal change is taking place, and hormonal changes are also occupying his mind to be to be attracted with the sexual sphere. And you have made it a secret, and he is unable to explain all these things to you. And ultimately he may go in a wrong way, or he may suppress the ideas because my society do not allow it. And ultimately people and the young boys and girls start masturbating all that, and they are again scared about that one. Oh, I'm doing something wrong. No, do not be scared. Tell them it's a normal phase of life. It's not going to harm you. You know, when a person gets married, male, girl or boys, they have a daily sex life. They are not getting any damage from that one. But they refreshes their mind. They freshens their body as well. The same way, because nature has already certified you when there is a hormones, testosterone hormone, when there is a estroprogesterone hormone, when there is a production of menstruations, when there is a production of spermatozoas, well, say semen analysis, and all these things, the semen is coming up, means the nature has certified you for your actual purpose of your life, to create life from life. Nature has certified that. And our preachers and all those, they have suppressed this thing, that no, it should not be talked about. It's a something secret. It's a wrong. And that is why there are many things happens, many things happens in our society, that which are not acceptable by the society, that should be declared open. That should be, first of all, it should be between the parents and all that, and teacher and students. So that, because nowadays in the college and schools they are giving sex educations, and also the personality, how you can develop and build up your personality, these type of lectures are giving in the schools, and the children are maintaining all those things. It's necessary. And also the parents should take part in that one, so that their children should be free of tension, not to hesitate to talk about all these things. And otherwise, if they are suppressed, if they are suppressing their thoughts, nightfall will come up. Or because of that one they will feel guilty, and when they will feel guilty, ultimately it will suppress his own physical activity. That creates big changes in his life. So all these things, this should be treated as the first sense organ should be respected according to that, according to his situations. But no, it comes later in life, at the adolescence life. Its function starts at the adolescence life. So we are taking it back, and we are not talking about this one, and we are saying that no, it should not be discussed. And that is why many of the things are going unacceptable in the life of children's. And we are worried about that one, that our children are become stubborn, our children are failure in their lives, our children are not getting the target what they want to achieve it. So all these things happen because of the minimum things, minor things happens, and we have not taken care of that one. We have not discussed these things with our children, and children are unable to discuss with us or with our teachers, and it is depressing. And it is depressing, and ultimately the children becomes hysteric. But as I told you, the schizophrenic type is a type which comes from the genes, and there are some type of uh, change of symptoms very beginning, since beginning life. The children are disorganized, and they are not behaving as they should behave with the parents since beginning. Irritated children, because their parents were either ADHD or autistic, and that genes are prevailing and increasing in their children's, and the children's very beginning from since their birth, they are having something acquired factors to develop this type of personality that is known as schizophrenic. And schizophrenic children are more, you can say, worst type of things, more bold, you can type of things, that the hysteric type of children will not be uncovered their sexual parts, whereas the schizophrenic children may be bold enough, you can say, that they are under uncontrolled, the is happening inside his mind, and they are open. This type of, and we should know he's a shameless person. Huh? He's he's not taking care of the society at that time who is in front of him, and he is bare. So all these things are the changes between the hysteria and the schizophrenic comes. We can easily recognize all these things at the age of adolescence, when they are suppressed and remain suppressed, but it causes any mental type of anxiety, suppressions, then it is hysteria. When they are exposed, whatever the incidences are, then they are the schizophrenic. So your children should be maintained, even if they are schizophrenics, it should be maintained. If your children is becoming hysteric, you have chances to maintain it, you have chances to cure him, you have chances to get rid of all these problems in your children's, and your children can achieve the normal target in their lives. So today's time is over. I am your host, Gurdeep Singh Sandhu. If ever any time you want to discuss any topic of your children's life, any disease from head to heel, anything, if you are getting treatment from any other systems and you are fed up from the treatments, you can discuss all these things. To get a second opinion about your disease or conditions, you can call me at 408 687 1899. And my clinic address is 9701 Sarah and Court, Dublin, California 94568. Again, phone number 408 687 1899. God bless you all. I pray for your good health of your children and your families. And we'll see you tomorrow for the same lecture. And there will be another development, another step of life we will be discussing in the adolescence age. What are the other diseases the children at this age may suffer from, and what we can do about these things? We will discuss later in the next day. Thank you.